And now here we are waiting for the Knuckles miniseries in less than a month, as well as the third installment in December. I mean, depending on when I upload the video, the series will probably already be out because I'm a fucking lazy idiot, but whatever. I probably won't review Sonic 3 until it comes out on streaming, and I'll probably talk about Knuckles, I don't know.
Has this ever happened to you? You're out enjoying life, having a barbecue with your family, when suddenly that pesky little brat zooms in and ruins everything. Hi, I'm Lily, and I've been dealing with the same hedgehog infestation for the longest time, but it all went away as soon as I partnered up with the toughest and most attractive anthropomorphic monotreme, Knuckles the Echidna.
Oh my goodness, what does he do?
What does he do? What does he do? Well, I'm glad you asked. Knuckles has 30 years of work experience to his name. He can fight. He can fly. Don't you mean glide? No, I mean fly. He even does sex work! Knuckles is perfect if you want to guard a valuable rock, get rid of an annoying blue porcupine, and he's extremely gullible, so you can manipulate him to do whatever the hell you want! If you're looking for a good time, call Knuckles now! That's 248-434-5508. Again, that's 248-434-5508. If you're satisfied with your Knuckles the Echidna visit, consume these Knuckles the Echidna brand merch and stream his new show only on the Pirate Bay. Warning, do not take Knuckles brand vitamin gummies if you are allergic to peanuts, eggs, milk, or asbestos. The Knuckles brand sex hotline is only for people over the age of 62. No purchase necessary to enter the Knuckles Casino Cruise Ship sweepstakes. Many will enter, few will win. Knuckles likes to illegally gamble.
Knuckles is the most disappointing thing since 9/11. Oh man, YouTube kinda sucks. I wanted my next video to be an animation, but I guess I'm gonna talk about this show first since it's something a little more topical. On a more positive note, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who said I should dabble into more non-gaming related videos. Well, that and the Sonic movie video did some pretty interesting numbers. But mostly, thank you everyone. I definitely will try to talk about some other media on here. I'll probably do a short one soon after this one, and while I don't plan on doing this idea anytime soon, I've been itching to make some lengthy analyses. I wanted to make some long videos about the Evangelion franchise. Yeah, I'm a massive Eva fan, and sometime I'd like to talk about what makes the original series, the manga adaptation, and the rebuild movies masterpieces in their own ways, but I don't want to get too off topic. After this video, I'll do an animation followed immediately by going back into Road to Ragnarok with the God of War PSP games. Okay, let's talk about Knuckles now. So this show kinda just showed up out of nowhere. Around the same time they announced Sonic 3 officially being in development, they announced a 6-part spin-off about Knuckles. It would be streaming on Paramount Plus. Now, personally, I thought this show was gonna be dog shit based on the format alone. I so do not like the streaming service original spin-off show with 6 episodes format. It's lazy and stupid and only exists for content, frankly. Every time these exist, they really have no real need to be formatted this way. Their plots don't warrant this, and they would fit much better as movies, in my opinion. For example, does anyone remember that Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Now, I used to be a massive Star Wars fan, you know, before the sequels came along and ruined everything that's right in the world, but that's besides the point. The Obi-Wan show's premise was just a short little adventure with Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan taking care of a young Princess Leia. As the two of them hop from planet to planet, they get into some wacky misadventures, and Obi-Wan eventually fights Darth Vader at some point. Now that sounds like it would make a cool movie, right? An Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Star Wars story, if you will. But well, too bad. It's a Disney Plus original series and it's 6 episodes long and it gets really boring. I love Disney! Anyway, I feared that Knuckles would fall into the same fate, which is kind of a shame because the trailer looked really good. I like the premise of Knuckles still trying to adjust to his life on Earth, and Knuckles basically having his own Sonic movie 1, but with him and Wade traveling to Las Vegas. When you think about it, Wade and Knuckles are basically Tom and Sonic, but role reversed. There's also an original villain, I guess. He seemed a little uninteresting, but look, it's Kid Cudi! He made the first good Sonic movie credits song.
You think you can take my power? Do I look like I need your power?
What are you talking about? Of course we need his power.
My faith in the show did go up as time went on. They released some clips and they're pretty good, showing some more character development from Sonic and proving that yes, you can make Knuckles funny without assassinating his character. Wait, each episode is about 20 minutes long? Okay, fine. I have faith in this show now. I mean, it shouldn't be too bad, right? Now, before I start the show, just a couple of things. For one, if they're gonna keep introducing more Sonic characters with each new entry in this cinematic universe, I hope Rouge shows up for this series and Amy shows up in Sonic 3. Okay, let's put the show on now. Also, you know me, I'm gonna be talking about spoilers. If you haven't seen the show already, go watch it and then come back to this video. If you have or don't care, then yeah. Episode 1 of the Knuckles series was pretty good, actually. We start off with a decent training scene with Knuckles and...
I know what you're thinking. What type of maniac wakes up at dawn to punch boulders? I'll tell you who.
No, we aren't doing this again. People who are watching this have already seen Sonic 2. Anyway, I think Knuckles himself is still really funny. Seeing him mistakenly beat up these construction workers and eat their lunch was great. Since James Marsden was banished to the Shadow Realm for his crimes of supporting pedophilia, Tom is out of town and Team Sonic is temporarily being looked after by Maddie. I'm pretty happy about this since I personally like Maddie and I'm glad to see her being focused on, even if it is brief. Speaking of brief, Sonic and Tails make an appearance too. This is probably due to the lack of screen time, but Sonic barely does any pop culture references, which is good. I definitely found him to be slightly more likable when he wasn't referencing something every 5 minutes. He seems pretty chill here.
Man, this place is beautiful, huh?
No.
What? Really? You don't think Green Hills is a beautiful place to live?
No.
Not even a little?
No.
And Tails has a total of 5 lines. Tails is funny since he's very non-existent in this universe. I hope movie 3 focuses more on his character because for now the Wachowski family basically has a father, a mother, 2 brothers, and 2 dogs. But let's get back to talking about the episode. Sonic tells Knuckles to make himself at home since Robotnik is out of the picture for now. After Knuckles meditates on this, he decides to make himself at home by making himself an iron throne and turning the living room into an arena, which gets him grounded. Again, seeing Knuckles not understand these concepts was both funny and in character. We're also introduced to the ghost of Chief Pachacamac, played by Christopher Lloyd. He tells Knuckles that in order to keep the echidna spirit alive, he must train an apprentice in the ways of being an echidna warrior. Here's a nitpick. This would have been the perfect time to introduce Tikal. I know this is a different take on this universe, so Pachacamac isn't his old ruthless, genocidal, power-hungry self, but Tikal fits much better as the spiritual guide for Knuckles as a little voice in his head. If they wanted to go the extra mile, seeing her would have been a pleasant surprise. But screw that, let's talk about something slightly worse. Wade Whipple, baby! Wade has to train for this fuck-ass bowling tournament, and from what I hear, it's more focused on than, you know, Knuckles the Echidna. I'm so excited, guys, hooray! Okay, to the show's credit, it's not that bad yet. The first Wade scene isn't that funny, but when Knuckles sneaks out of the attic and the 2 of them go to the bowling alley, there's a nice conversation about Wade's backstory and why he likes bowling. When he was young, his father abandoned him, so bowling is what makes him feel like a part of his dad is still with him. Knuckles asks him if bowling is what makes him feel at home, and this is the first scene where I could really get behind the premise. It seems the 2 of them aren't so different after all, and maybe this is how Knuckles starts to feel more at home on Earth. Even if it's somewhat a rehash of Sonic 1, the different characters make it so it's different enough, and it's just nice to see them have a heart-to-heart. Like I said, this show has some original villains.
I hear the mushroom planet is beautiful this time of year, my friend. Enjoy!
You were pretty proud of yourself for someone who just kicked an unsuspecting man in the chest.
That seemed a little racially motivated. These villains are seen working for Gun, keeping track of Team Sonic. Once Knuckles leaves Green Hills, they show their true colors and prepare to give chase to Knuckles. Overall, this was a good episode. I hope these villains show up more later on. Spoilers, they don't. Okay, now we're on to episode 2. After a fight scene in the bowling alley, Knuckles is captured and Wade formulates a plan to break him out. I'll admit, the daydreaming scene of Wade being a badass while rescuing Knuckles and seeing the plan blow up in his face was kinda funny. And so was Kid Cudi. Speaking of Kid Cudi, the villains definitely made me wish we got something like them in the games. You know, a villain who used to work for Gun before using their resources to become another Eggman, basically.
We've been selling weapons to one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in the world.
Oh, you mean like Israel? Despite the plan originally failing, Wade rescues Knuckles by taking one of the bad guys' echidna-powered gloves and blowing up Knuckles' cage with it. Man, it hurts to see others fulfill your lifelong dreams. With no other option, Knuckles takes Wade and jumps out of the big hole in the wall. Now, Knuckles didn't glide in the entirety of Sonic 2, but now we finally get to see him glide, baby! The gag where Knuckles kicks the radio also got a laugh out of me, as well as Knuckles actually starting to enjoy music later on. After the two of them hear that Wade is now a fugitive, the two of them stop at a bar or rest stop or whatever. Yeah, this is a road trip movie. So of course it unfortunately falls into some road trip movie cliches, like something along the lines of, "Are we there yet?" Or a scene where the two of them stop at a bar or rest stop or whatever. Hey, that sounds familiar. Okay, so the first episode was directed by Jeff Fowler, and we know Jeff, he's a fellow Sonic fan. He got his start by working on the CG cutscenes from Shadow the Hedgehog. The first two movies were also really good, not just as movies, but also as Sonic the Hedgehog things. They have a way of taking elements from the source material and weaving it with the real world, making for one of the most creative takes on the Sonic mythos. Jeff directed the first episode of the show, which I believe to be the best. Now, what was the new director's approach on making the spin-off?
Listen very closely now. I don't give a shit.
So, remember what I said about the streaming original show's problems? Do you also remember the stuff I praised about the first two movies? Things like the human stuff being complementary to the Sonic stuff and not taking over the narrative? Welcome to the rest of the show. Episode 3 is boring as fuck, and it's where the show starts to rear its ugly, 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 ugly head. Disclaimer, I don't have anything against this actress. I'm sure she's a very nice lady in real life, and I was only kidding when I called her ugly. She looks alright. However, that doesn't change the fact that her character is an annoying ass bitch and the incarnation of Satan himself.
I'm the devil, did you forget that? I'm the devil, like from Bible.
Back here because you lost your squad car again. You want to borrow Mom's Volvo? Don't bother. Volvo's too much car for you anyways. Wanda. Maybe you should just stick to embarrassing yourself on the little baby scooter you've been taking on duty instead.
You know, it's embarrassing.
What?
Oh my god, I don't care! Wade and Knuckles take refuge in Wade's mom's house, where we meet Wade's family. His mom seems pretty sweet, but again, his sister is so fucking annoying. I get that her and Wade bicker a lot, but sticking a fork into his arm at the dinner table? Are you 5 years old? This episode is the most boring, unfunny, and sometimes flat out annoying thing I have ever seen. All that happens is that they have dinner, they argue, they make Holocaust jokes.
Our tribe has been through some tough times too, minus the giant owls. He's basically Jewish.
Wade sulks in his room, that I'm assuming where they store all of Sonic's pop culture references after taking it out of his bloodstream, and some bounty hunters break in and start a fight with the family. I mean, that's really the only thing Knuckles does in this episode, and to its credit, the kitchen fight had some creative camera work that you don't really see in the movies. Oh man, you thought Knuckles didn't do shit in the previous episode? This one is entirely focused on Wade! Again, it's boring as fuck. He gets captured, Knuckles calls him and tells him to meditate. Pachacamac is in Wade's head somehow. And there's a shitty rock opera about Knuckles before Wade breaks out and beats his ex-best friend.
That I might hit Facebook Marketplace up.
You know, at this point, I was thinking, If Knuckles needed to find a new apprentice to carry on the Echidna legacy, what if it was Sonic? It would be cool seeing them go from rivals to mentor and apprentice. What if it was Tails instead? That would actually give him some purpose in this universe. What if the thing that gets the plot moving is Rouge stealing the Master Emerald? What if Knuckles met the Chaotix along the way? What if the show was about literally anything but Wade? This episode might seem like filler, but it's needed in the grand scheme of things. In it, Shinji and Asuka have to synchronize their dancing so they can defeat a new type of angel. They wear matching outfits and it is pretty funny. It plays into the two of them working better as a team. Hey, wait, where are you taking me? Where are you taking? No! So Weed Nipple and Fuckles the non-exist Echidna finally make it to Reno for the fucking bowling tournament, and Wade meets his dad, who is secretly a twist villain. He's working with Kid Cudi and the racist British girl. Wow, who would have seen this coming? Don't you guys think it's funny how the other villain got like 2 scenes in the entire show and we know little to nothing about him? Don't you guys also think it's funny how this show can't seem to commit to anything? Also, it should be said that this isn't just a bad Sonic thing, but a bad thing in general. Let's say for a minute that there's a new fan who's only seen the movies. Little Timmy loves seeing these funny animals, and he's ecstatic when Paramount announces Knuckles. Imagine the sheer disappointment on his face when Knuckles is in like 30% of the whole show and the rest is filled with bowling tournaments, half-baked family drama, unfunny jokes, and a stage play where they make Iblis go on fucking Facebook. I haven't felt this way about a video game adaptation since Five Nights at Freddy's. I hate Five Nights at Freddy's! You guys want to know what I was watching before this show premiered? Quite a few, actually. My boyfriend and I started Parks and Recreation when we VC on Discord, and it's really funny. We also started Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm really digging the animation. On my own, I also started watching Dragon Ball Z Kai. You want to know what I was playing before this show? God of War: Chains of Olympus. What's the point, you might ask? Well, I'd rather be watching and playing those instead. I also started to fiddle around with Sonic Heroes recently. It's a pretty fun game. It's got Knuckles in it. They should make a show about him! This last episode starts with a big action scene where Knuckles beats these chuckle fucks until they shoot rings out of their gun, and Knuckles beats them by punching the rings, and the 2 chuckle fucks get caught in the vortex. That's a shame. I guess they're dead now. They had potential, but it's all missed potential now. I guess that means it's accurate to the games now, right? Okay, the rest of the episode is centered around the bowling tournament, and Wade has to fight his dad on his personal battleground or whatever. I don't give a shit anymore. I just want this to be over already. These announcers are so unfunny, and the sister is still an annoying dumbass, and everything is so boring. I would like to apologize to Sonic Prime. As stupid as that show is, at least it wasn't lying about what it was. At this point, I just stopped giving it 100% of my attention, even when the villain showed off his suit that looks like Rhino from The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Look at the balls on this guy. A fatherless, stunted, utter shell of a human being.
The new porcupine on the block with the buff chest, out the wilderness with the ruggedness. Knock knock is
Wade Whipple.
And the question is, does Wade have the strength to finish this fight?
I'll do you one better. Does Wade have the strength to end it all in front of everyone in the bowling alley, completely changing the course of their lives? That way at least something interesting would happen.
Nice speech, but you left out one small detail. You're a loser.
Anyway, Knuckles gets his ass beat by the Rhino, and he's left powerless and unconscious on the street, and Wade is the one who fights him at the end. Remember Sonic the Hedgehog? Anyway, Knuckles decides that Earth is his home now and he wakes up and he beats the bad guy. You know, at least an electric guitar is playing in the background. At least that feels a little more like Sonic music than the generic orchestra music from the other two movies.
You know, Gary, I looked it up, and actually this has happened before. There was a visit by an extraterrestrial in the 1974 tourney.
1974? That was 50 years ago. I don't give a shit anymore.
You did it, Wade Whipple. You won.
Buddy, we did it.
That's it?
So, that was quote-unquote Knuckles. It should have been called Wade Whipple. Better yet, it should have been called False Advertising, the show. I probably should have said this at the beginning instead of the end, but this is all just my opinion, okay? The show is pretty divisive. Some love it, some hate it. I don't want to put down anyone who likes it. These are all just my opinions. I'm sorry, but this show was just a huge disappointment for me. Even saying that is a massive understatement. It's a 6-episode streaming original show with bad pacing, and it would have benefited from being a streaming original movie, at the very least. It also has the same problems that I was glad the Sonic movies didn't have. It's not funny, the characters are annoying, the titular character is barely in it, and it introduces nothing of value to this universe. It might just be the worst Sonic show ever made. I don't know about you guys, but I think this show will be forgotten about pretty quickly. But with that said, I haven't given up hope. They took a massive misstep with this waste of time, but I don't think this show determines whether or not Sonic 3 will be bad. The majority of the series was directed by someone else, and Jeff Fowler is set to direct Sonic 3. The first two movies were still great. The first episode of the show, for the most part, was pretty good. So I'm still gonna be excited for Sonic 3, and hopefully we can all just forget about this awkward middle chapter in this Sonic cinematic universe. Now, seeing that they ended the show very abruptly, I think it's only fair I do the same with this video.